Hello, everyone. It's a Slaughterland Movie Podcast, and this time we're talking about our least favorite survivors of serial killers. Darren, the best was quite easy, including this one, the worst. There's some real, like you say, crap.
There was some crap out, particularly, as I said before, in the 90s. A lot of kind of thrillers with serial killers in, big stars in them as well. That when you look back at them now, they just don't stand the test of time whatsoever. And a lot of these movies here were huge at the box office that I'm going to talk about. Looking back at them now, there's some pretty shoddy movies.
Are these the movies that are? I mean, for me, I look at these movies, and some of them are the movies I'll watch again. Some of them aren't. But then, if they follow the formula of what's and who are supposed to survive, these are characters that shouldn't have.
Yeah, I mean, there's some of these here that I feel as well should have been finished off. Because of stupid decisions that they make, or just because it was time for that character to go. But yeah, let's get into this and let's have a look and see what you've got. You want to go first on this one?
Yeah, I'll go first this time.
Okay.
You went first last time, so this may piss a lot of people off for my first one, but I just can't stand the actor. And I just don't particularly like the movie, and I think it should have been reversed once I tell you who it is as protagonist, and that's Catherine Dean from The Cell.
Oh, okay. Was that Jennifer Lopez?
Jennifer Lopez, who I can't stand anyway. I won't go see a movie with her in it, even though I kind of had a little crush on her when she first came out. But we're not saying that. I've been rehabbed over that.
Okay.
Bless you, Ben. Bless you. What a complete moron. What seriously? Vince Vaughn's character should have been in that. Vince Vaughn's character should have been in that contraption to go into the mind of a serial killer.
Was it Vince Vaughn?
Vince Vaughn was the cop. Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh, Vincent D'Onofrio. I'm thinking.
There's too many Vincents. Yeah. There's even Vincent Van Gogh is in this one. His ear is in this one. But there's that one part where everyone says the makeup and the cinnamon toffee was fantastic, but yet I can't stand her for some reason. When she was sitting that getup in that chair and just smiling, I wanted to punch her in the face.
Really?
I hate her. I hate her so much in this movie. She thinks she's this great scientist, for lack of a better word. I think she's like a psychologist or something in this movie. Thinks she can go in and help people get out of comas and either find, help victims or people subjected to some kind of medical condition. And she gets pulled in because she's stupid. She doesn't have the brain to know that it's all an illusion. She's stuck in people's minds. I'm going. This half hour episode is going to be an hour episode of why I hate her. And then Vince Vaughn, who's a terrible cop, and terrible acting cop. It should have been reversed.
Yeah.
And he absolutely pulls her out, of that trance that Vincent D'Onofrio's character puts her in because she's in the mind of him, like the serial killer. But she does nothing for this movie.
Have you seen this recently? Because I haven't seen this since it came out, and I really can't remember it whatsoever. I
watched the trailer again.
Oh, really? Okay.
And the trailer refreshed all my memories, and the setting was great, costume was great. As you remember, Vincent D'Onofrio was sitting there in the trailer going because he was dressed like some kind of Queen Victoria king.
I remember it being very opulent and the
fantastic.
Costumes were very yeah.
He looked like Lopan.
Me too. Hey, fair enough.
Yeah, but she's going through all this stuff, trying to help him, because he's been subjected to cruelty as a kid. That's why he's like the way he is.
Yeah.
And it's just it went on too long too.
Yeah.
I would have shook him as a little boy. Say, you tell me where that victim is. God damn it.
Who directed it?
Oh, damn. Who directed
this? Guy with one name? Tarsum, if I remember right.
Mick G?
No, not Mick
G. Yeah, Tarsum Singh.
He just called himself Tarsum.
Yeah, Tarzan.
Tarzan directed it.
But again, a movie that hasn't, for me, particularly aged well.
No. Okay. I would need to take a look at it again. I haven't seen it for a long time since it came out. I remember lots of tanks and things like that. Yeah, that's all I can remember from it. But
yeah, they use the same tank as, Analyze This, with a mermaid in the bottom of the bar.
My number 5 is Helen Krueger in Sea of Love, played by Ellen Barkin. Another one of these kind of smutty kind of detective movies with a serial killer. The 90s was full of them. I'm going to talk about at least 3 in this from the 90s. It may have even been late 80s. Was it late 80s? No, I think it was like 1990 or something like that. Anyway, Sea of Love. Al Pacino in a kind of erotic thriller. I don't need to see that for one. I need to see him and his hairy ass all over some young blonde girl. Yeah. But yeah, this film was, for me, when I first saw it, I just thought, oh God, not another one of these. We've already had Jagged Edge. We've had Fatal Attraction. We've had another 2 that are coming up after this as well. I just thought it was a really weak movie. Mm-hmm. And all based around her being a bit kind of promiscuous, and her husband is revealed to be the killer of all the guys that she ultimately shags throughout the movie. A really lame plot, a massive A-list actor like Pacino at the time in this film, and I didn't think it was very good at all. She's probably the worst survivor.
Hate her, right? Hate her.
Yeah. Didn't like the film one bit, and I'm never that keen on her as an actress. But yeah, Helen Krueger, Sea of Love.
Okay, not the Bobby Darin story.
What's that? Under the Sea.
Under the Sea.
Yeah. No, not the spacey thing. Did you ever see this film?
Oh, a long time ago. Yeah. It's one of those movies where it's one and done. Like you said, Pacino's hairy ass. You don't want to see that. No. Get my ass. My next survivor is not to be outdone by the survivor throughout the series, but I hate him just as much, and that's Randy Meeks from Scream. Jamie Kennedy, an asshole, a smart ass, a dickhead, loud, obnoxious. Can't stand him, thinks he knows everything, pops out of everywhere, not screams, at the top of his lungs, but, a prick. Just everything that goes wrong besides Sydney surviving everything is Randy surviving the first one and yet being killed by Billy's mother in the van, a little tiny woman.
But he's not a survivor then.
No, well, that's part 2.
Oh, we're just talking about part 1 now,
You're getting me going on the whole franchise right now.
You're making these rules up as we go along here.
You say go, and I said okay. He survived the first one. He's a survivor of the first one.
Okay. I'll give you that.
Yeah. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, even Laurie Strode dies throughout the whole franchise. To his own credit, he dies against his own rules. In the second one, but he survives this one so close to where Ghostface could kill him, and he's actually can watch, someone can actually go running into the house and tell him that he's about to die, which I think they tried to do. But ladies and gentlemen, I just hate Jamie Kennedy. I hate this franchise. I hate anyone that survives it. I could have picked every survivor from the franchise, but I didn't. I picked the one that I hate most over others. Randy Meeks, Scream.
Okay, you booked your day off to watch this the next one next year, next January, is it? I think.
Is it for the channel?
No.
Then I won't see it then. We're gonna have to, aren't we?
We're gonna have to do. We'll have to look at it. We'll have to talk about it.
Only if someone pays for my ticket.
Jesus.
All right, your next one.
Okay, my next one is Harry Callahan in the Deadpool.
Really?
Clint Eastwood. I thought Dirty Harry is, for me, an absolute... It's on a plinth somewhere. I absolutely adore that film. By the time it got to this, the 5th one, so you had Magnum Force, Enforcer, Sudden Impact, Deadpool. This was just junk, this film. I went to see this. One of the first 18 rated movies I ever went to see back in the late 80s. And you have him getting rid of this killer by the name of Rook, I think his name is, with a harpoon gun, skewering him across a dock onto a fishing shack. Just a ridiculous end. I mean, like, he's had his magnum throughout the whole series, and now he's got a giant harpoon gun, a sword fishing gun, or
Talking
whatever
about
it
his
is.
gun.
Yeah.
Not what he's packing.
No.
Oh, okay.
You go talk about that on your own channel. So I thought it would have been a nice moment to get rid of Harry Callahan in this movie, but he fucking survived, which is just a shame.
And you know what that means. You're shit out of luck.
I do love Clint Eastwood, but I thought that the Deadpool was a very, very weak ending to that franchise.
You know he's going to die next week, probably.
No, don't say that.
How terrible would you feel?
Don't say that, because there will be a point where somebody's watching this video in the future and he will die at this exact moment.
As he's reading the line from all major news outlets.
Yeah.
So, American icon. Yeah, but it is, like you said, Harry Callahan is synonymous with, let's call it, cops and robbers movies. He's up there with Lethal Weapon. He's up there, with Die Hard. And anything that he just draws attention. That's why I was so surprised you picked him. Wow.
Yeah, I know it's controversial because everybody loves Clint, but I didn't enjoy the Deadpool. I think it's a very weak, and I've tried to watch it again, but I do think it's a very weak entry in the franchise.
How do you feel about Jim Carrey singing
Welcome to the Jungle? I like that. That's fun. You got Jim Carrey in here. You got what's his name? Liam Neeson's in here. Liam Neeson's the bloody suspect for the most of the movie.
With a mullet, kind of, right?
Yeah. What's wrong with that? It was 1989. Leave him alone.
You look like Rob Roy. Okay, I'll leave him alone. Okay, I'm cheating with this next one.
Okay.
Because it's not one. There's three of them. It's in the same group. Okay, and that is Fuller, Lewis, and Verna. Joyride.
Oh, you don't like Joyride?
I like Joyride. I hate them.
Oh, okay.
None of them die, Darren. None of them die.
Okay.
Only like the people. Only like little no-name people survive. I mean, die. But all three of these mothers.
So is Candy Cane a serial killer then?
You would think he is, right? He's been killing people. He kills people. He's a trucker. Cody would know. He's in this, the union. Cody, if all truck drivers are killers, let us know. And if you met some, let us know. But if you got
therefore he's a truck driver, therefore he's a serial killer.
Equals. If you're not home on the weekends, you're doing something else. But yet, how does he let all three of them survive? Even the girlfriend, he lets them survive.
That's a good point. Paul Walker, Lily Sobieski,
and
I can't remember the other guy's name.
Steve Zahn. Zach.
That's it. Steve Zahn. Yeah.
Steve Zahn. Yeah. How do you let all three of them survive? One of them should have died.
Yeah.
Either the brother or the girlfriend, right? To really piss him off. Have kind of a 7 ending.
Yeah.
But no. He just like,
they all survive.
Watch this.
That's a good point.
Watch this. Watch what we're going to do. And he survives at the end, too.
Good point. It's a good point.
Played his voice played by the great
Ted Levine.
Ted Levine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Candy Cane.
Could you imagine over that? Imagine if there was a little Easter egg over the radio. He goes, "Where's my precious?" Yeah. Wouldn't that have been great?
Is she a real big fat woman?
Yeah. Don't talk to the big fat woman that called me to this hotel. I'll just settle for the angry businessman. But yeah, why let all three of them survive? Get one of them out.
I get what you're saying. It's unusual, isn't it? You usually would have at least one of them would die, but no, All three survive. I never thought about that before. I do like the film.
I do like it too. Yep, I do like it too.
Yeah.
Okay, your next one.
I'm going to go with Detective Nick Curran from Basic Instinct. Michael Douglas, who at this point was clearly just addicted to shagging. Yeah, and Basic Instinct was an expensive movie. I mean, everything about it. You had two of the biggest actors in the world at the time. You had one of the biggest directors in the world. You had that great Jerry Goldsmith score. You had the fantastic Rob Bottin, I think, did the effects work in the movie. Everything about it was just stars aligning. The box office tills were ringing. When you go back and watch this film now, it's dreadful. Well, it was just filth, wasn't it? It was just an expensive way to show big actors shagging.
Big ass.
Yeah. You watch it now and it's pretty dreadful. That scene in the bloody interview room with Sharon Stone and all the guys it's been parodied infinitum now on TV as that sequence, and it just kind of cheapens the movie now. At the time, everybody was like, oh, you know what I mean? And at the time, people were confused by the ending about who'd actually done it. I presume it's her. But
it is.
Yeah, it is. But so many people were asking me afterwards, well, I don't get that. Is it her or isn't it her? Well, of course it's her. Anyway.
Let's not be stupid here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so Michael Douglas, worst survivor, one of the worst survivors of the 90s, Basic Instinct. I really, at the time, I liked the film because it had a lot of talent in it. Oh Jesus! It had a lot of talent in there that I really respected. But watching it, I've watched it a few times over the last few years, and it's just pretty dreadful.
And they made a sequel,
and that's awful as well. Yeah.
I mean, it's just they also done a comic book,
a Basic Instinct comic book.
Correct. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't picked it up yet. I know where it is. I could buy it, and you could buy the whole collection. and I think it also comes with a coloring book. If I'm not,
wow.
Yes, if I'm not mistaken. But this is the movie that made her career, isn't it? All because
yeah.
She wasn't wearing any underwear.
Why did I pick this?
The issue is that this was the same movie. This is the same movie with the same characters done 40 times in this year. Well, you got Sliver.
Yeah,
right?
Sliver.
What was it? The Fatal Attraction.
That was in the 80s. But there's one next that I'm going to mention, which was a kind of poor man's version of this. But we'll get your next one first.
But it's always like Michael Douglas was playing Michael Douglas in Basic Instinct throughout his career.
Yeah. Oh God, he's just Michael Douglas in everything.
Besides Falling Down.
That's a good point.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Great movie. All right. My second to last. If you're following the formula of serial killers, slashers, who's supposed to survive and who's not to survive, this is the one that's not supposed to survive at all, but does, and that's Marsha from Sleepaway Camp 3.
Oh, wow.
She's the redhead that goes with this guy, Tony, who's a gang member, but she cheats on her boyfriend with Tony, and Tony is coming out of his shell, becoming a good guy, and saying, we'll get together, we'll get married, we'll have a few kids. And she's like, I have a boyfriend already. You cheater. You harlot. Jezebel. You're not supposed to survive. You're not goody two-shoes. The other ones did survive. The girl before her, in Sleepaway Camp 2 did survive. We think, she survived. But this one survives, even though she's really deep down, she's a rich, spoiled girl who gets her way and just wants to do the Sleepaway Camp thing for like college or extra credits. Yeah, but she just really wants to sleep with everybody. How is that possible? Why?
You're saying it goes against the rules.
Goes against the rules. You're supposed to be either a goody two-shoes or a virgin. She's not.
Yeah.
She's a cheater.
Yeah. And she survived.
Why?
That's kind of cool, though, isn't it?
No.
Why?
Because you can't. You shouldn't. You're supposed to be something wholesome and good.
I don't know. I kind of think that's kind of goes against the grain, and you probably expecting her to get killed because she's had relations in the film, and she doesn't.
Well, my favorite girl, Collingwood, she wasn't a virgin up to that point. But this one admits I have a boyfriend. Breaks poor Tony's heart. And you know what? Tony right there, I would have said, I'll take care of her, Angela. Stab her right there.
Who's Tony?
Tony was the guy that survived from the gang member from the Awful Kid section.
Right. Got it.
And he was just like, ew. She the friend of her that was like, ew, he's Mexican. That girl should have died. She did, but in a daft way. I know it's not your favorite movie. I just love the franchise. I think it's great.
I've seen it once, and I watched it for the episode that we did, and I've forgotten it already. So I remember the guy from Tango and Cash running around in his underwear.
Yeah, Herman.
What was that? 2 or 3?
That was in part 3, and he was making out with the girl that was in the tent because his wife didn't give it to him anymore.
That's right. Yeah.
And all he did was the weirdest kissing scene. It was one of my worst moments. Where he's just like, it was like he was sniffing an apple or something like that. Just eat it. Okay, your next one.
Okay, Frank Delaney, which is Willem Dafoe in Body of Evidence. You remember that film?
I do.
With Madonna.
Yes.
Which was kind of off the heels of Basic Instinct.
Remember the poster?
Yeah, and was like a really poor, tacky, cheap version of Basic Instinct, directed by somebody called Yuli Edel, I think it was. A really shabby, shocky, grubby, what do they call them now? Erotic thriller.
Yeah.
Some awful moments. I think Madonna was the killer in the film, I think.
Terrible acting.
And yeah, and I think Willem Dafoe may have played like her lawyer or the DA or something like that, defending her. And yeah, it's pretty shabby. And why Willem Dafoe does this every so often in his career, he will just go off the rails and do shit. He's done it before. Like stuff like Antichrist for one. For God's sake.
A lot of people like that though.
A lot of people do like that, but Speed 2, that's another one. Antichrist was okay. I didn't mind Antichrist might be a bad example, but you know what I mean. He pops up in some shite now and again.
Yeah.
And Body of Evidence is no shit. Shit it is. Body of Evidence is I think one of his worst films. One of the worst films of the 90s, I believe. So yeah, Frank Delaney, Body of Evidence, the excuse for an erotic thriller with Madonna. Shocking movie.
Again, she was on a high, wasn't she, in her career?
Yeah.
I mean, throughout the 80s, she was, including early 90s, and up until recently, where, no one goes to see her. I remember that time she kissed Drake on screen. On stage, and he looked like he was going to throw up.
Who?
Drake. Yeah, the rapper. She lap danced him and gave him a kiss, and he just laughed. It looked like if there was a bucket there, he would have gone in it. Nobody wants their grandmother kissing him in an open mouth.
No.
Especially if your tongue can fit through that gap.
Yeah.
But yet, again, like your last pick with the Basic Instinct, the 80s and 90s that was all about these erotic thrillers.
Mm-hmm. And not only that, on VHS, they were 10 a penny. They were all over the place. Shannon Tweed was in a new film every week.
Yeah. I saw every one of them. That was okay. I could see why, because you said now and then he picks some awful movies to star in, maybe because he doesn't need the money.
Yeah.
Although the last one he was in was perfect.
What was that?
Nosferatu.
Yeah.
See it, ladies and gentlemen.
Good choice.
See it. All right, my last one I put as my number one. Not really hated, but frustrating. Darren, what about when I say from Saw, Dr. Lawrence Gordon?
Which one's he?
He's the first one in the beginning. He's the one who cuts off his own foot. Your
Oh,
fellow.
yeah. Carrie Elwes?
Yeah. He doesn't show up again.
He's just, it's a terrible performance in that
You
movie.
think so, right?
The film's good, but he's
Yeah.
dreadful.
And the concept is good.
Yes.
You know, if it wasn't, it wouldn't have 10, 12, 30 movies already attached.
30 movies.
Soon to be there. I could have picked any other survivor. You know, I could have picked, what's her name? Shawnee Smith.
Mm-hmm.
I could have picked her, you know, but then she becomes influenced and becomes Jigsaw at the point of the franchise. But we only seen Dr. Gordon once. He is mentioned. We assume he's in another part of the franchise, providing Jigsaw with equipment. It's not really told whether he is or not. It's just implied.
Mm-hmm.
But yet we assume he survives, and it's just frustrating though.
Yeah.
It really is. You know, he cuts off his own foot. He gets out of there. You don't help your other fellow man. I know why he's doing it, because of his family.
You know who that fellow man is?
He's a director now.
Lee Winnell.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Holy. I think he's better behind the camera. Don't you think?
Carrie Elwes is.
Yeah. Why do you don't like him so much?
He's awful. He's
Is
a
he?
terrible actor.
Even in Princess Bride, he was terrible.
Yeah.
Well, that's because he was surrounded by great story.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, he was Robin. You didn't like Robin Hood Men in Tights?
Not really.
Oh, okay. You'd rather see Leslie Nielsen instead of playing Dracula.
Yeah, I want to say Leslie Nielsen. I don't know why he was in that.
Yeah, you know what? He is awful in Dracula '92, though.
Mm.
You know, he is awful in that. But still, the reason why he's not my worst. He's the most frustrating.
Yeah.
It's just like, man. Done.
Here we go. Okay.
Your last one.
My number one. Lady Raven, Salika Shyamalan in Trap.
Are you? Yes.
Yes. One of the worst movies of last year. Absolutely dreadful film.
I didn't mind it.
M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, who plays this kind of almost like Lady Gaga-esque pop star, is just terrible in this film. And there's even a bit where she kind of like just takes the young girl and him back to her house. Like the management and security wouldn't question where she's going. There's so many plot holes in this movie. Like the guy who runs the bloody merchandise stall, he's in on the whole thing, the sting with the cops and everything. They've told him what's going down. It just doesn't add up, any of it. It's just nonsense. I don't know what he was thinking. This is one of the best writers that Hollywood had about 20 years ago. And he's just gone off the skids. His movies are awful these days.
Josh Hartnett was okay.
Josh Hartnett was the best thing in it.
Yeah.
He was. But her performance, and he wrote this for his daughter. She is dreadful in it. She's the worst survivor of a serial killer movie for me, because this serial killer movie is god awful.
I agree with you 100%. As soon as you said Trapped, as soon as you said her name, I was just like, you're right. She's what took me out of that movie. There's no pop star or musician alive that would put themselves in that danger. And how they deduce that serial killer would be there at that concert is still questionable.
Well, why didn't they just check everyone going in instead of getting everyone in and putting them at risk and wait until they all left? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. As a movie, it just doesn't hold together one bit.
It has so many holes in it, so many ways he could escape, so many ways but again, the doctor, the FBI profiler, I think she's crazy herself.
Yeah.
I don't think she knows what she's talking about, Darren. I think she's like, this man will be here
That's
today.
Hayley Mills.
I don't care who she is. this man will be here today, and I can tell you this: the way that he moves and everything. And like you said, and now you're getting me frustrated. Telling everybody, including the guy who picks up the shit in the parking lot afterwards, after all this concert,
Yeah.
the merchant guy, the hot dog guy, the T-shirt guy, letting anyone who has a badge could just go and listen to a debriefing. This is a waste of taxpayer money.
Yeah. Dreadful movie, and fully deserves to be the worst serial killer survivor. Lady Raven from
In
Trap.
history.
Yeah.
In history. And I thought what Barry said on his channel would have been a better plot if that was a serial killer being kidnapped. Would have been a better plot twist.
Yeah.
No, but the plot twist at the end is he can escape everything.
Yeah. Nonsense.
And what's with being without the shirt on?
You'd
Towards
have
the
to
end.
ask somebody else.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was our worst survivors of serial killers. Whether or not you want to think they're serial killers or not, they survived some awful crap. We'll be back with more stuff. And Darren, it was a pleasure again. And as always, stick to the roads.
And the best of luck.
Bye, everybody.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers.